Hello, it's Pearlsy, and I have a pirate dress tutorial for you guys today in Disney Dreamlight Valley. It's a touch of magic tutorial. I'm going to teach you how to make the dress that I am wearing right here, and I apologize in advance if you can hear my neighbor's dog barking for the entire video. Enjoy! We are going to start off with a basic cottage dress, then we're going to add a square motif. I want to turn off the global stretch. We're going to hit the front back button, and then I'm going to resize the square to as large as possible. We're going to align the bottom of the square with the waistline of the dress, and we want to make sure that our view is looking down just a little bit. Next, we're going to add another square, and I want to make that the width of the dress. We're going to turn it white, and then we're going to move it over to the sleeve, and we're going to move it towards the head of our character. If we have it lined up right, it should appear on the bottom of the sleeve on the other side. Then we're going to duplicate that so we have both of our sleeves done. Now we're going to add a half circle, make that as small as possible. We're going to line that up with the neckline of the dress and then duplicate on the other side so we have a nice scoop neck. Step 2, we're going to lace up the front of the vest. In order to do that, we're going to add a bar or the rectangle. I'm going to turn off the stretch and then we're going to make the rectangle vertical. In order for me to find where the center of the dress is, I'm going to turn on the mirror function, and then I'm going to move these two motifs until they overlap perfectly. You can tell because that's when it gets the smallest. It also helps me find straight vertical. Once we're done with that, we can just turn off the mirror function and that extra bar will go away. Next, we're going to add the laces motif. So we're going to find that and then turn off stretch. Then we're going to align the top of that motif with the top of the bar that we just added right below the scoop neck. We're going to add a half circle and make that as small as possible. And then we're going to make it the same color as our vest. We're going to use that to cover up the extra bits of the motif that we don't want to see and duplicate that so we have one on the other side as well. Step 3 is the belt. We're going to add a bar, turn off the globe stretch, turn on the front back function, and resize it to about the width of the waist of our character. Then we're going to move to the back because it's easier to do from this angle. And we're going to align the bottom of the bar with the waistline of the dress. You want to be looking down a little bit, and if you do, you'll get a nice belt that wraps around to the front. Next, we're going to add a trident motif, and we want to make that just a little bit past horizontal, so it's angling down a little bit. We're going to turn on the mirror function and line those up so they look like a belt buckle, and there is no resizing necessary on those. Next, we're going to add a circle. And we want to turn off the global stretch. We're going to resize it to the smallest allowed. We're going to change the color so it matches the belt. And then I'm going to line that up in the center of my two tridents. Next, we're going to add a helm motif. Same thing. We're going to turn off the stretch, resize to the minimum, and we're going to make that a golden color. Finally, we're going to add a ring. We're going to do the same thing. Turn off the stretch, make it as small as possible. And then we're going to move it up to the belt buckle. But this time, we're going to make it just a little bit bigger so that way it fits around the outside of the helm motif nicely. Step 4 is the bottom ruffle. We're going to start by recoloring our dress to black and then add a bar. We're going to resize that to the maximum allowed, turn off the global stretch and turn on the front back function. Then we're going to move it down to the bottom edge of the dress. Once we get there, we're going to turn on the mirror function and line these two pieces up so that way they are just touching at the center line of the dress. If we get this lined up right, then there will be a nice white stripe that goes all the way around the bottom of the dress. Now we're going to select one of those white bars, hit the mirror function to duplicate it, click off of the white bar, and you'll see the duplicate. So we can use that one, turn on the mirror, and line it up like we just did below. Step 5 is skirt stripes. So we're going to add a bar, turn off the stretch, turn on the front back function, and turn on the mirror function. We're going to resize those to the max, recolor them to red and line them up like we did with the ruffle so they just meet at the middle. Then we're going to repeat this 3 more times. Sometimes these can get a little glitchy. I don't know why or how, but if they do, just delete them and start over again, and that normally fixes the problem. I just eyeballed it, but if you wanted to, you could use another one of these stripe motifs or the bar motifs as a guide and place it in between so that way you knew that all of your rows were exactly the same distance apart. Step 6 is vest finishing touches. I wanted to add a pirate motif to the back of the vest. In order to do this, you have to turn off the stretch, otherwise you'll get half of the pirate motif on each side of the center line that goes down the middle of the back of the dress. Then I added a couple of these stitches motifs so that way it would look like The leather vest had been ripped or torn and then stitched up by hand by a pirate, who I'm assuming so poorly. So I did one of those on the shoulder, as you can see here, and then I duplicated it with the mirror function, and I added the other one on the other side of the vest, kind of down by the rib cage. And that is it. That is my pirate dress tutorial. Here I'll give you a 360 of the dress. If you're wondering about the bandana that I'm wearing, that is another Touch of Magic item that I just made the same red as the stripes on the dress. I hope this video was easy to understand and that you guys liked it. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. If not, I appreciate you just watching all the same. I'm Pearl Z and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!